Dance Arts of Columbia provides fitness fun for everyone from 3 years old to adult. Dance Arts is a good environment where the friendly staff makes you feel comfortable. Dance Arts feels that dance is an art form that you can experience firsthand by learning tap, jazz, modern, musical theater, lyrical, and ballet. Dance Arts urges you to enjoy a sense of accomplishment while getting fit and having fun. For class information, call 875-1569. Dance Arts of Columbia, serving Columbia since 1979.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, February the 10th. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've got one guest, singer, songwriter, storyteller, Larry Brown. Welcome to Radio Friends.
Good morning.
And you know, when you come, especially when you tell a story, I really like it because all I have to do then is sit back here and listen to the story.
Well, that's how you get the big bucks.
Now, your story today is dealing with Valentine's Day, I hope?
It's a theme worthy of Valentine's Day that could be applicable to any time when you're serious about your relationships.
Okay. So next Tuesday is Valentine's Day. We'll say this is a Valentine's story. What's the name of the story?
The Gift Exchange.
The Gift Exchange, okay.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't tell me the name of the story before we started.
Often I don't tell you because I don't want to give it away.
All right, so here is Larry Brown with The Gift Exchange.
Teresa Whitmore would get from Aunt Tressie stuff throughout the year. Gifts would come to her. Sometimes they would be Christmas or birthdays or Valentine's Day. Any special occasion, she'd get a gift from Aunt Tressie. Well, it really wasn't her Aunt Tressie. It was actually her great-aunt's husband's sister. But Tressie was family. Tressie had chosen in the 1970s to take a teaching position in Europe to provide education for the families of military personnel stationed overseas. Fell in love with that job and fell in love with Europe. And now she was retired and in poor health, but had stayed in Europe. And she would send back regularly to Teresa little things, sometimes a little miniature Eiffel Tower, sometimes Swiss chocolates or Swedish coffee, or sometimes it was just souvenirs or junk, or sometimes something special, always a gift. Well, Teresa had married, had a child, and at the time the story begins, Gwendolyn was 8 years old, and a package came from Aunt Tressie. Well, Teresa looked at it and thought, oh, it's not really, there's not an occasion right now. I'll set it aside and do it later. And it was addressed to both she and her daughter. But time went by and it got put in the closet and forgotten. And nearly 2 years had gone by. And Teresa was cleaning out the closet and found that package. It had that nice silver paper on it and a nice bow. And she thought, well, it still looks pretty good. But it's been a couple of years and Tressie's gone now, and I feel kind of bad about it. And at that time, they were collecting gifts to send to soldiers overseas. She says, well, I'll take it down there. Now, normally when you send a care package to someone overseas, it goes through all kinds of inspection, rejection, and manipulation. But somehow that package, intact with the wrapping, made it all the way to Iraq and was given to Michael Hernandez. And Michael Hernandez had got one of those care packages with all kinds of goodies from people back home, and there was this wrapped gift, and that was special, and he had set it aside to open it later. But tragically, Michael did not come back from his next mission. And a few days later, his best friend there with him in Iraq, Ron Mitchell, was looking at all this stuff, and he thought, I really need to pack it up and send it back to his folks, and so he did. And so a few weeks later, Carlos and Juanita Hernandez had gotten all of the stuff back, and Carlos was not about to look at it. He was anger over the death of his son and the whole issues, and so Juanita just put that stuff away. And over the next couple of years, would every once in a while get something else out and sort of introduce it back into the family. But after a couple of years had gone by, she was down to this unopened, wrapped package. And she didn't know what to do, and she thought, well, introducing it now into the family situation. But so she took it down to the Salvation Army store. It was right at the time of the year that Willa Carter was arranging the display in the front window of the store. And she was doing a Christmas display. She said, oh, that would be great, that'd be great. And she put that little package, and it went through the whole season into January. And at the end of the season, she was putting all that stuff away, and she says, well, it still looks good enough. I'll keep it for next year. And off it went. The second year in a row, and it was a display. But after the second year, with the sunlight through the window, it was beginning to look a little faded and ragged, and she just sort of tossed it away. Into the dumpster it went. But that day, Al Jones was coming by with a trash collection service. And you know Al. He would be gleaning stuff as he hauled it away. He always threw stuff up in the front of the truck. They thought, oh, I'll fix it, or this has a place. And sure enough, he found that package, threw it in. But when it got back to his garage, it sat there for a long time until finally his wife said, you got to clean it out and get rid of it. So he set up a garage sale. And that afternoon, Sam DeMond came along. He was a senior in high school. And that Sunday night, their church was having a Sweethearts event and a Valentine's program. And they were going to do a gift exchange as a part of Valentine's Day. Well, he bought that package off the garage sale for 25 cents. And that night, as they gathered around the circle and drew names and were exchanging the gift, Gwendolyn got that package. She opened it up. And to her surprise, inside in all this wrapping was a bowl, an orange, ugly-looking bowl made in Poland. But as she pulled it out of the package, another little box fell open. She opened it up, a little locket on a necklace with a picture of an old woman and a blank space. And there was a letter, and the letter said to Teresa and Gwendolyn. And as she opened it, there was a letter from Tressie saying, I hope you'll enjoy these gifts from Poland and a necklace. Put your photo beside mine. Oh, and by the way, I put $10,000 in a Swiss bank account, and it's in your name, and here's the number, and maybe someday you can use it for your education to be a teacher like me.
What a story. What a story, Larry. Is that a true story?
It's full of truth.
Yeah, that is a beautiful story. And that package traveled all over the world to so many different hands.
And right back.
And you never know.
You
never know. So, is that your original story?
It's an original story.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. You have any events coming up?
Well, I'll be performing a little bit later this spring in the Jefferson City Mid-Missouri Storytelling Festival and the St. Louis Storytelling Festival. I'll be a featured teller at the Cape Girardeau Festival, too, in April. So a little later in the spring, I've got 3 festivals I'll be
Okay. So if people would like to visit with you or have you come out and tell stories or sing songs or just pass the time of day, how do they get in touch with you?
Contact me at brownstory@hotmail.com.
Okay.
Or you may look at my website, www.brownstory.com. And you see my schedule and ways to get hold of me.
And you've got your DVDs,
DVDs
and CDs available.
Or
on the website
live, in person.
Yes, the last time you were here, your voice was going out. I'm so glad that it's much better now.
It's in now.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Tomorrow, or Monday, actually, this is Friday. This was a Good Friday show. Monday, we're going to talk about a mushroom workshop. How do you tell the difference between good mushrooms and poisonous mushrooms? And we have a Toastmaster on who just loves to talk. Our show directed by Travis McMillen of the Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers, KBIA. Our flow director is Danny Madison, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.